As I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to be doing a formal intro for these other decluttering videos, so today we're doing eyeshadows. I decided to kick things off with NYX first. So up here in these palettes, I have a Z palette as well as a MAC double-sided palette. These are the Hot Single Shadows, and then down here on the bottom, I have the NYX Prismatic Shadows. If you guys are curious, the Hot Single Shadows, I believe, retail for $4.50. The NYX Prismatic ones, I don't remember the price. I'll go ahead and annotate it right here. So total, I have 106. Clearly, there's a ton of shadows, so I'm not going to be doing much swatching just because that's a lot of shadows to cover. But if you guys are curious, I did do a best of NYX videos where the prismatic shadows were featured in them. I love the formula of the prismatic shadows. They're incredibly buttery, blendable, just super pigmented. So I will be keeping those. I went through and swatched these, kind of messed with them, and I'm going to be keeping these shadows right here just because I do want options for drugstore tutorials, dupes. However, everything from here onward, I am going to be passing along. The only thing is, I wish I would not have depotted all of them because I need the palette still, but I'm just gonna figure out a way to place these somewhere to where I can pass them along. Now, if you were curious about swatches, I'll probably be swatching some of these smaller collections, but since this NYX one was so big, this one was just harder to swatch. So out of the 106 shadows, I'm going to be keeping 38. Here's some of them, as well as all of the NYX Prismatic shadows, and then I'm going to be getting rid of 68, which I think is pretty good. I'm just going to go through and try to find a smaller palette because I'm actually going to be passing these along to my neighbor because she needs help building her eyeshadow collection. I don't think I mentioned in the beginning of the video, but I'm also going to be including kind of like primer bases like this, shadow sticks, cream shadows, pigments, glitters. The only thing that I'm not showing are my Makeup Geek singles just because, I mean, honestly, I love every single one of those, so I'm keeping all of those, as well as my ColourPop shadows just because I have a video planned for those very, very soon. So here we have the NYX Jumbo pencils. These used to be holy grail status to me. I love them. Don't get me wrong, I do still love them, but I just never reach for them anymore, and I'm not going to keep something in my collection just to have it, so I am going to be passing these along, except for these two here, actually these three, because that's just embarrassing. The cap broke and they got smashed, but this is Milk, which I think is hands down one of the most well-known NYX Jumbo pencils. Iced Mocha and Pure Gold. Honestly though, these are still really pretty. They're just squished, but I'm too embarrassed to give someone something like that. So those I'm going to toss, but I am going to be passing these four along. I have Strawberry Milk, Rust, which is another one of my favorites, Sparkle Green, and Cottage Cheese. So then I have the glitter primer as well as the waterproof eyeshadow primer. I really enjoy both of these, so I'm going to be holding onto these two. So yeah, we did pretty good getting rid of all the jumbo pencils, but just passing these four along to a friend. This is the last that I have from NYX. I have 6 of the roll-on shimmers. Once again, referring back to that best of NYX video, I did swatches of all of these. I love these roll-on shimmers. Personally, I think they're some of the most underrated products from NYX. If you go in with a good glitter adhesive like the one I showed you earlier, apply some of that and then pop some of this on top. They are stunning. Salmon is one of my absolute favorites. This is a newer product to my collection. It's one of their, what are you? I think just face and body glitter in the shade Copper. I love this, so I will be keeping all 7 of these items. Next up, I have these Milani shadows. I forget the exact name of them, but I know they were like a gel powder type of shadow. They are baked on these terracotta trays here. When I first received this PR, I basically dwindled down the collection immediately just because there were lots of like turquoise shades that I knew I wasn't going to be using. While I do like these, they are pigmented, they are nice, I just hardly reach for them. But there are 2 shades that I do want to keep out of the 15. This is Bella Copper. Look at this. It is so silky and buttery. That's just a gorgeous golden copper. I think that's probably one of the best coppery shades you can get at the drugstore. So I'm going to be keeping this one as well as Bella Chiffon. Now, Bella Chiffon is pretty on the eyes, but what I really like to use this for is a face highlighter. That's barely touching it, and if you just, I had already swatched it earlier, but as you can see, it's just this really nice kind of pearly golden type of highlight. So I'm going to be keeping these 2, but passing along these 13 shades here. Next up, I have the Maybelline Color Tattoos. I used to be obsessed with these, but a lot of them dried out just because I got like the very first collection. Here we have Painted Purple, Barely Branded, and Fuchsia Fever. Both of these, as you can see from the swatches, are super dried out. This is the only one that's still creamy, plus this is probably my favorite color out of the 3. So I'm going to be holding onto this one and trashing these two guys here. Here I have 6 of the NARS Dual Intensity Shadows. These are beautiful and they are super pricey. The quality is definitely there. I love this one here. I think it's Pacific, not quite sure how to pronounce it. It's a really cool green with a duochrome. I do love the shades. I do love the formula. The packaging is really cute. They're magnetic and they stack perfectly together. I think out of the 6, I'm going to be keeping 5. The only one I'm going to be getting rid of is this one here. I believe it's called Geove. It's a gorgeous navy, but I hardly ever wear like blues or navies, so I'm sure I can find a friend or a family member that will get way more use out of this. So out of the 6, we're keeping 5 and passing this one along. Here we have 3 of the NARS Duo eyeshadows. I love these two here. This one I actually haven't even swatched. It's brand new that I got from PR, but I have several black shadows that I love. I have plenty of white, so since this is brand new, I want to go ahead and pass this along to a family member. The 3 here, I'm going to be keeping these 2 and passing this guy along. Next up, I have a NARS single shadow as well as 3 of the hardwired shadows. This was actually my very first NARS purchase ever. As you saw from the swatch, it's a gorgeous metallic green. Unfortunately, it's shattered, so that's why I haven't opened it for you. And then here I have 3 of the hardwired shadows. I believe that these are limited edition. I did kind of a grunge glam tutorial using Lunar here, which I love. It's gorgeous. This is Stud. This is beautiful as well. Parallax is a gorgeous silver. However, I have so many silver shadows that I actually prefer more over this, so I'm not going to keep it, even though it's NARS and I love NARS. Somebody else can get more use out of it. So out of the 4 here, I'm going to be keeping these 3 and then passing, whoa, focus, and passing this little guy along. Next up, I have these eye polishes from Pure Cosmetics. If you're not familiar with them, it's supposed to be like a pigment eye primer mixed with a top coat all in one. They're supposed to be smudge proof, creaseless, all that good stuff. I do like them. These you actually can wear on their own without topping them with a shadow. They have really nice color payoff. I can tell you though, the ones that I haven't used in a while, I've noticed that they separated. I had to give it a good shake. While I really do like this color Velvet, this one makes my eyes pretty sensitive. I remember back in the day when I first started using MAC shadows, anything that had like red or purple in it, the dye in it really bugged my eyes. Unfortunately, I had that same reaction with this. When I first applied it, I loved it, and then I noticed every time my eyes were itchy, and so I'm guessing it's from this. So out of these, while I do really like both of these colors, I think I have other shades that are just very similar to this. So I'm going to pass on Cashmere and Velvet, but keep Satin, Silk, and Suede. For the next brand, I'm going to do some e.l.f. So starting off with some of these singles and trios, these are all of the baked eyeshadows. Well, not all of them, but all the ones that I have. These work wet or dry. I noticed that these 2 shades here, this is I think Chocolate Dreams and Burnt Plum, these do not perform well dry. If you dampen your brush, you definitely get a better color payoff. These just feel chalky compared to these 2 shades here. So I'm going to be holding on to both Toasted and Bark, as well as the trio. I'm not crazy about the deep shade in the trio, but these 2 shades here are really nice. Like I said, it's just nice to have options for whenever I do drugstore looks. So I'm going to hold on to these 3 and pass these 2 along. Next up, I have 4 of the e.l.f. smudge pots. I forget if these are either $1 or $2. I'm not going to swatch these just because I do have a best of e.l.f. Cosmetics video where I have swatches of everything. I actually really like these, so I'm going to keep all 4 of them. These are the e.l.f. Long Lasting Lustrous Eyeshadows. Once again, I have swatches of these in the e.l.f. video that I mentioned. These are actually some of my favorite products from e.l.f. This shade here, Soiree, is one of my absolute favorites. I don't care for these worn naked on the lid. I mean, they work, but I notice they crease. However, I love to use these kind of as like eyeshadow shimmery toppers. So if I'm wearing like a really pretty cranberry or some sort of pink eye. So I'll lightly just pick up some of the shadow. It has this interesting moussey texture, and instead of just rubbing it on, I'll lightly just pat it on top of the color, and you just get this really pretty kind of like glittery top coat. I'm a huge fan of these, so I am going to be holding on to all 4 shades. Next up, I have 8 of the L'Oreal Infallible shadows. Personally, I think these are some of the best shadows you can get at the drugstore. Honestly, I'm going to keep, I think, pretty much all of these, except for this one, Eternal Black. It's pretty, but I don't really use shimmery black shadows that often, so I'm going to pass this one along, but these I'm all going to keep. Golden Emerald is probably one of my favorites, as well as Amber Rush, but I feel like that's probably one of everyone's favorites from the collection. Strawberry Blonde is good as well, but I think this one may have been limited edition, but if for whatever reason you guys haven't tried these yet, definitely an awesome option at the drugstore. So out of 8, we're getting rid of 1. Here we have the Benefit Creaseless Cream Shadows. These are really nice, but honestly, honestly, I don't use them that often. I know my mom loves them though. In fact, I gave her, I think, one of these a while ago, Bronze Have More Fun, and she used almost all of it, which just makes me really happy. So I'm going to pass these three along to her. I'm going to keep this one just because if you guys follow me on Snapchat, you know that I want to start a series up where I'm using makeup that's kind of like forgotten. So I'm going to hold on to RSVP, hand these three to her, and then this guy here, and No Pressure, is completely dried out. Like, he wouldn't even swatch, he's so dried out. Looks really pretty though, but yeah. So this one's gonna go in the trash, and these three are going to go to another home. I have three of the Benefit Longwear eyeshadows. All three colors are beautiful. I'm only going to keep this one though, Blingo, just because it's one of the most intense metallic silver eyeshadows I own. So I do wanna hold on to this guy, but I'm going to pass these two little babies along. I have a couple MAC shadows that are still in the pots. I have two of the Dazzle shadows, which I love, Boom Boom Room and Say It Isn't So. Embark, Deeply Dashing, Family Silver. This one's going to be able to go back to MAC soon because, as you can see, I accidentally dropped it, but there's still quite a bit of shadow left in there. So I'm going to keep that. And then Interview. This was probably like the second or third MAC product that I'd ever bought. I do like these. The only one I'm going to get rid of is Embark, and that's because I actually have the like single pan in a palette. So this one I'm going to pass along, but I'm going to keep these little babies here. If you guys haven't tried the Dazzle shadows, oh, so pretty. Next, I have 4 MAC pigments. These came from a holiday set years ago. If you guys do plan on buying a MAC pigment, I would highly recommend buying them in the smaller vials like this. I believe they sell these now for like $10. I'm not sure if it's for all the pigments or not. I know they do have the popular shades though, like Naked and Rose. I'm going to hold on to all these. Yeah, I was kind of like iffy about this, but I've been using pigments more and more recently. And if you guys saw from the swatches, I did swatch Blue Brown next to Lounge just because I know someone's gonna be like, you don't need both. But personally, I feel like Blue Brown has more of a reddish base, whereas the Green Duochrome in Lounge is way stronger. So they're different enough in my opinion, but you know what, that's just me. I like to have options, so I am going to be holding on to, actually, I'm going to get rid of this one. This is Jigs and Jive, I believe. Yeah, it's really pretty, but I have other shades that are close enough, like in a pressed shadow. I don't mind putting in the extra effort when using something that's like really shimmery like this. This is pretty, but it's just more of a basic shade to where I'm fine just using a pressed shadow. So I'm going to hold on to these three guys and get rid of this one. This is kind of a random category. I got these last year during the holidays at Walgreens. This is a trio of Profusion shadows. If you can ever find these, I highly recommend picking them up. I picked up a palette, wasn't as impressed, but these dinky little singles, you'd be surprised. Like, they're super, super creamy. The gold isn't quite as like easy to work with as the navy and this deep kind of bronzy olive tone, but these pack a punch. And like I said, they were only $1 for all three, so I am going to hold on to these just because I have a video idea where I can include them in. But as our next brand, we're going to be talking about Sigma. I have 2 of these highlighting duos, Ray of Light and then Goddess Glow. I'm going to be holding on to both of these. This matte shade in the Ray of Light duo is so buttery. It's perfect for the brow bone. And then I actually really like the shimmery shade in the Goddess Glow. Moving on to the Sigma single shadows. These do have a really nice formula, but I don't reach for them that often except for these 2 shades here, Luna and Fawn. I'm going to hold on to these 2 and then pass these 4 along. The final product I have from Sigma is an eyeshadow base. This one is in the shade Composed. It's just a nice matte, I think, oh no, maybe this one isn't matte. Just kidding, there's a sheen to it. It's just like a warm-ish brown, yeah, kind of like a camely color. I haven't used this in forever. In fact, it's a little bit dried out. If I dug up that first layer, it would probably be creamy underneath, but with creams, I just don't want to risk it, so I'm just going to toss this one. Whoops, I lied. I found 2 more of these Sigma loose shimmers. I have Gilded and Midsummer. Midsummer is gorgeous. It's a really deep bronze. This is pretty as well, but I noticed it's a bit flakier than some of the other Sigma loose powders, so I'm going to keep this bronze shade and then pass this guy along. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not including the Makeup Geek eyeshadow singles in this video, but I do have 12, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, 12 of the pigments here. I'm keeping all of them. I do have a Best of Makeup Geek video. That one's older though, so if you guys would like an updated one, I can do that for you. Just let me know down below. So I am going to be holding on to all 12 of these. I love them, but I totally forgot that I have Insomnia. This is pretty much an exact dupe for the MAC Blue Brown pigment. So now I can't justify getting rid of this one. I'm gonna hold on to the Makeup Geek one and then pass this along to a lucky friend who I know will adore it. Next up, I have 9 of the Makeup Geek sparklers. If you guys aren't familiar with these, I'm not gonna lie, they are a pain in the ass to work with. They get everywhere. I do believe though, since I've received them, that they now come with a sifter. These don't have a sifter in them, so if you don't have like your workspace prepared, glitter gets everywhere. And it's weird because the formula is not consistent. The top 2 that I was showing you in the swatches, Halo and Light Year. Light Year was the very top one. These feel like actual pigments, like smooth and finely milled. But then a lot of these are like crispy glitters that are just like meh. But these 5 down here I really do like. This one is definitely more one of those slightly crunchier glitters, but it's not near as like crispy and crunchy as these. I'm gonna keep these 5 and then get rid of these 4. Next up, I have some of the Violet Voss glitters. These 2 are just being stubborn and not wanting to sit up. I love these. You can use them on your eyes with their Violet Voss glitter adhesive, or really any adhesive you have. You can mix them in with clear nail polish. You can just do a lot with these. I am going to be getting rid of some of them though. These 3 here, this gold one in Jerry, I don't know, this shade of gold I'm just not crazy about, but Goldie is probably one of my favorite golds in the line. So I'm gonna hold on to this one, get rid of this, as well as Wendy and Just Layin'. This was a limited edition holiday color, but I just really don't see myself using red glitter. I'm gonna pass this one on to After Hours. Can we focus, camera? There we go. It's cool. It's like black and there's some pink glitter in there as well. I really don't see myself using this. I was holding on to it because I was like, oh, I don't have anything like it, but no, I'm going to get rid of it. So we're going to get rid of 4 of them and then keep the other ones. Here's another kind of random brand, like how I showed you the Profusion shadows earlier. These are the LA Colors Shimmering Eyeshadows. I believe in the drugstore dupes for high-end makeup I did last year, I was wearing this pigment all over my lid. I got so many questions about what I was wearing. It was this. This set, I want to say was like, I think this may have been $1 too. $1, $1.50, something crazy like that. And look at them. I mean, the pigmentation is so pretty. I love this shade here. Oh, camera, why do you hate me today? There we go. It's just a really pretty, like light bronze, taupey tan type of color. So while I do like all 4 of them, I'm going to be passing these 2 along, the pink and the gold. Not bad, y'all. I found the other one. I think this was actually the color that I was wearing all over my lid, but look at that. That is so nice. And like I said, this was only either like $1 or $2 for all of the pigments. So I'm going to be keeping this guy too. I have 4 kind of standalone pigments here. I actually just received 3 more of these Estee Edit ones that I need to show in a haul. But this is the one in Scarlet Eclipse. I'm pretty sure I did a tutorial on it. If not, I have a picture on Instagram. This thing is beautiful. You have a cream shadow on the top that's just this like rich burgundy. And on the bottom, you have this gorgeous kind of champagne color. If you apply this all over your lid and then top it with NARS from the Makeup Geek palette and then focus this color in the center of the lid, it is beautiful. I'm going to be keeping that, as well as this pigment from Inglot. This one is in the shade 84. I also really like this. This is the Ciate. Ooh, I don't even know what this is actually called. Like the name is Washington Avenue, but the product name, I forget. But it's kind of like the same concept. You have just a clear primer rather than like a tinted one. Primer on the top, and then this pigment on the bottom is gorgeous. It's like a pinky golden duochrome. Love this. And then this I got from a swag bag, I think from the makeup show in Dallas 2 years ago, which I'm going this year. So if you guys are going, be sure to come say hi. This is from the brand Gleam, and it's just the Radiant Dust. I don't know if I've ever even used this before, so I'm just going to pass this along, but keep these 3 amigos. Here I have 2 of the Palladio Crushed Metallic Shadows. One in, what are you called? Nebula, and then the silver one is called Zodiac. This one hasn't even been opened, so I'm going to pass this guy along, but I'm actually going to be keeping this one for a dupe video. You can find Palladio at Sally's as well as Ulta. I have 2 single shadows from Catrice. I hauled these a while ago, and to be honest, I only ended up using this one a couple of times. This felt really soft and silky. The color is nice, but I've just kind of forgotten about it. So I'm going to pass this one along. I really do like this, and I feel like it's something that I may try as a highlight as well. It's the Liquid Metal Eyeshadow in the shade We Are the Champagnes. So I'm going to keep this one, but I will be passing this one along. This is a single shadow from Julep, like the nail polish brand. It's a multi-dimensional, I think, orbital eyeshadow. Isn't that what it's called? Yeah, in the shade Andromeda. This is actually super, super pretty. It has tons of dimension. Color, it's buttery, it's really, really nice. These are still on the site. this color is really, really pretty. So I'm going to be keeping this one. Next up, I have this little case from By Allegory. It just fits little single shadows. These are my Urban Decay shadows. I'm pretty sure this is all of them, at least in the single form. This one, I believe I just got from Ulta. It was like a platinum perk or birthday perk, something like that. This is Midnight Cowboy, which I remember this was one of my favorite shadows that came in, what was that palette called? Was it the Ammo palette? Such a pretty color. I'm going to be keeping this one. This is Solstice. Oh, I love this color. Definitely going to be keeping that. This was a pretty close dupe for MAC's Boom Boom Room. I think they were almost like identical. I did a little video on Instagram forever ago. This is Scorpio. It's kind of like a blackened olive green, forest green type of color. That's beautiful. I'm probably going to be keeping most of these. Cosmic. Oh my gosh, it's like a silvery champagne-y pearl. We're going to be keeping that one. This is Ether. If you guys didn't know, you can pop these little guys out and fit them into one of the Urban Decay palettes. I don't know, I kind of don't mind these being single though. So there's that guy. I just love this formula of shadow. It's so pretty. Okay, and then we have Backfire. These just have like a really cool type of duochrome. That is really pretty, but honestly, I think I'm actually gonna put that one to the side. Okay, then we have Dive Bar. This is a really pretty kind of purpley blue. You know what? Now that I look at those, I'm gonna put that one to the side as well. This is Riff. I actually really like this color. Just because you guys know I'm all about those warm tones. I'm gonna keep that one. This is Fireball. Love this. This is like another golden pinky type of duochrome. And then, let's see, we have Sideline. I'm gonna start swatching these right here. I love that color as well. And then finally we have Lounge, which I showed you guys earlier next to Blue Brown Pigment. So I'm going to be keeping that. To be getting rid of both Backfire and Dive Bar, but I'm going to be holding on to these here. I'm excited. Now I have room for other single shadows. Next up, I have these City Color Shimmer Shadows. I'm not going to be swatching these just because I did an entire dedicated video of City Color and I swatched every single one of these shadows. They're super affordable. They are creamy and buttery. Just to give you guys like a quick little swatch of one. For instance, this one here is called Cheers to Life, if I can get it open. So just barely swiping it. I mean, that's a really nice metallic foiled finish. So out of these colors, while I do love all of them and they are super pretty, like I said, it's nice to have drugstore options when filming videos. So I'm going to be keeping these 6 and then passing these 3 along. I do have a little duo of 2 of the Makeup Forever Pro Artist shadows. In fact, I have a palette of I think 6 of them. These 2 were just sitting in this basket, so I'm just gonna quickly show them to you. This shade here on this guy, I was a little bit disappointed. He's pretty, but it's not near as creamy and pigmented as some of the other shadows. Like, it swatches nice on your finger, but applied with a brush, I was a little bit let down. However, this shade here is one of my absolute favorites from the line. Like, if you love reds, what is this shade called? The only thing is I hate, here we go. This is M846. Moving on to cream shadow sticks. As you can see, we have quite a few here. So let's see, we'll go ahead and start things off with these LOC shadow sticks. I actually really, really like these. These were the collab that Tati did with Love of Color on Birchbox. I like most of these. That one is on point. We have Night Owl. That one I actually think I'm going to get rid of. That one has impressed me. It's just a really pretty kind of coppery bronze. And then finally we have the gold in Day Trip, which this one I love. These work great solo or as eyeshadow bases. I'm going to keep these 3 but get rid of this eggplant shade here. Next up I have a Maybelline Color Tattoo. This one is in the shade Creamy Chocolate. These are nice. I actually prefer these over the pot just because it's easier to use and you don't have to like dig your finger in there or risk getting stuff under your fingernails because that grosses me out. So I'm going to hold on to this one as well. I have a couple of these Rimmel ones from the Kate collection. This one is in the shade Rose Gold. Oh yeah, and that definitely is like a true rose gold. I'm going to keep that. And then these, I was a little bit disappointed. Look at this. I don't even think they're twist up pencils. I don't know if it's just because it dried out, but the whole thing like came out of the tube. I was like, that's crappy. So I'm going to get rid of that one. I don't know if this one did it or not. Like, look at them, all of them. That is such a crappy product. But you know what? I have a disappointing video coming up soon, so maybe we'll save it for that. This one though stayed in place, and it's, ooh, that's like a good matte brown too. I'm going to hold on to that one. I have this from the Total Intensity, which is by Prestige. This is in Purple Rain. It's like a deeper, oh, that actually has like little hints of sparkle in it. That's really pretty. I'm going to hold on to that. I have two of these NYX Infinite Shadow Sticks. These two along. Actually, I have one more of the NYX ones. This is like a really pretty metallic taupe. I'm gonna get rid of that. There's another one of the Total Intensity pencils. This one is in Meteorite. That's pretty, it's just a gray. I'm gonna hold that aside. If I have another gray, I may pass that one along. I have two of these shadow sticks from Mally. We have Smoky Quartz. I'm going to hang on to both of those so I can play with them. These just need to be tossed. These are from Tarte, the Smolder Eyes. This came in a holiday set. I don't even want to know how many years ago. Typically, I'm good about getting rid of expired products, but these somehow have just been hiding out. So those need to go. Okay, I have this by Terry. This is the, what are you called? Ombre Black Star in number 15. Oh, I love this. This was in a favorites video a couple months back. Look at that. The metallic goodness in this is incredible. I love this. Definitely keeping it. And then I have a couple of the Velvet Shadow Sticks from NARS. Whoops. I have two of these. I swore I gave my mom one. I guess I didn't. It's just a gorgeous deep green. So I'm going to keep one and then put one in my mom's pile. This NARS Shadow Stick in Goddess is one of my favorites. Look at that. Just like a gorgeous like rosy champagne color. Definitely keeping that, as well as this NARS Shadow Stick. And then we have one from Marc Jacobs. That is so pretty too. It's right here next to the By Terry swatch. This one is more of like a greeny khaki silver, and then this is like kind of a taupe bronze silver. Both are so pretty. I'm going to hold on to that one. Then I have a ton of the Jouer shadow sticks. I'm obsessed with these, but I know I can get rid of some of them, so I'm just going to go through, swatch them really quick on my arm, and then we'll decide what we're going to keep and what we're going to get rid of. Okay, so after swatching these Jouer shadow sticks, I'm going to be keeping these 7 here. These 3 I'm going to pass along because there were repeats of Abstract, Mosaic, and Avant-Garde. Actually no, Mosaic, this one I just didn't really see myself using as a baby blue, but the other 2 were repeats, and then unfortunately Rococo dried out, which made me really sad. If you guys haven't tried these, I highly recommend Serene and Baroque. I think those are 2 shades that would flatter everyone. They're long wearing, and it's nice because they do have built-in sharpeners and they are retractable. I have a couple other random products. This is the Stila Comics Gold Magnificent Metal Eyes. This is really pretty once you get it to work, but I just feel like these take a lot of effort. If you go too thick, they get crispy and crunchy and just meh. I don't know. I'm gonna pass that one along. Then I actually have 2 more NYX products here. These are the little Ultra Pearl Manias. I think these are like $2.99, $1.99, something like that. They're just loose pigments. They're great. I love them. I'm going to hang on to both of those. This is actually a sample of Chanel New Moon, because at one point it was limited edition. Now it's back out in the permanent line. So this can be tossed because it's dried out. That one's gonna get trashed. I do have a Chanel Illusion de Ombre here. My hands are like so glittery and stained. This one is in Convoy. I don't know how to say that. It's just kind of like a moussey, not quite as like bouncy as ColourPop. It's really pretty though. This is just a nice shimmery gold, so I'm going to be keeping that shade. I have a Makeup Forever. Oh, you know what? I think my other Makeup Forever one is over there. So I do have a gold Makeup Forever shadow, cream shadow, as well as this one. This is the Aqua Cream in number 18. It's just a really pretty lavender. I'm actually going to pass this one along because I actually have a friend who loves these opally type of purple shades, so I know she'll get use out of it. So I'm going to hold on to the gold one, but I'm going to get rid of this one. And then I have the Jouer Longwear Cream Mousse eyeshadows. These are kind of like, you know how earlier I said I really like using the e.l.f. shadows as like a topper? That's what this works great for too, but this one, it dried out. The other ones ended up drying out too, and the whole thing, look at that. That's such a bummer. So that is just gonna have to be tossed. And then this is a sample of the Inglot pigment in, I can't remember the number. So from that little hodgepodge pile, I'm keeping 4. And then these, these 4 here, 2 are being trashed. And then 2 are being adopted. Yay for them. Okay, this is the last pile of shadows. These are all from the brand Prestige, the Total Intensity line. These are awesome. I wanna say they're like $6.99 to $8.99, so maybe around the same price and a little bit more than some of the Makeup Geek shadows. But I have a couple trios in here as well as the singles. If you're, oh, my throat just dried out. If you're looking for like a good duochrome at the drugstore, this one here is called Bewitched. I thought it was Hocus Pocus. Am I looking at the right one? No, it's this one right here. Hocus Pocus. You have that same kind of like black brown type of effect, and I want to say this is anywhere from $6 to $8. So once again, you know, I like to have my drugstore options. We have a purple. This one is in Addiction. This is really pretty, but I have so many purples, so we're gonna pass that one along. Next up, we have this shade Charmed. It's kind of like a peachy color with glitter. I think I have something similar from NYX, so I'm going to pass that along, as well as this guy here. This is just a really pretty blue in long-term relationship, but I just don't use blues enough, not even in tutorials, so I'm going to pass that one. This one here, Spellbound. This is actually one of my favorites. You guys know I love anything like champagne and gold, and I love that metallic finish, so we're going to hold on to that one. There's another gold called Crave. Swatch that. That's more of like a true yellow gold, whereas that was kind of like that opaly champagne gold. Bewitched. Ooh. Me gusta. See what I mean? Those have such a nice metallic sheen. I'm gonna hold on to that one. Then we have this brown. It just has like flecks of gold glitter in it. It's called Wicked. I have so many browns, so we're going to pass that one along. Then we have a black sparkly shade called Long Term. Wait. Just kidding. Okay, apparently these shadows are called Long-Term Relationship. I'm a doofus. So that blue one was Obsession, and then this black one here is called Black Magic. We have this really pretty green called Hypnotize. Ooh, that is beautiful. I'm going to keep that one as well. And then I have some of these larger ones. These are the Color Rush eyeshadows. This one is called Pretty in Pink. That could work as a highlighter. Why? There's a fly in here. Gross. How did he get in here? Then this one is called Sterling, another silver. Thank you all so much. That is beautiful. I'm gonna pass that one along though, and then we have a copper. Okay, I could have a million copper shades, but I will somehow find a reason to justify them because I love coppers. So I'm gonna hold on to that one. These trios are really nice, but I have not used these in forever. So there's Fantasia, and this one hasn't even been opened, Smoke and Mirrors. So I'm going to pass those along. So out of all of those, we're keeping 2, 4, 6, 8, and getting rid of 2, 4, 6, 7. You know what? I feel like I can get rid of another one of these. I'm gonna get rid of this one in Pretty in Pink, just because, yeah, just because I'm gonna be a good little pony. So now I feel better about myself. True story. So out of 333 shadows, here are the ones that we are getting rid of, at least, you know, the ones that were still good to get rid of, not ones that were dried out or expired. So these are all going to a friend. There's a ton of shadows in here, as well as all of these singles from NYX and Milani, which I need to find a spare palette for. I think I have a NYX one, or not a NYX one, a MAC one somewhere. So getting rid of 157 and then keeping 176. I know that still seems really excessive to a lot of you guys, but keep in mind, I like to have a variety for tutorials, upcoming videos, dupes, all that good stuff. So I'm still really proud of myself. So yeah, if you guys would like to continue seeing these decluttering videos, be sure to hit that thumbs up button so I will know. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.